What should we think of this? What does it say?
Thank you very much. Both China and Iran are two fully independent countries with their sovereignty. And there is no international law which prohibits China and Iran to engage with each other in commercial transactions. And China happens to produce some of the most sophisticated missiles of all kinds. And it's absolutely right for China and Iran to size up each other and engage in whatever economic and commercial transactions they desire to do that, including involving such military missiles. And I think the whole world should be put on notice that both China and Iran will have full sovereign right to do such commercial transactions with each other, and no country should pretend to be surprised. Well, it is clear to everyone in the world in decency that Iran is not threatening the United States with war or military confrontation. It is just the opposite. The United States is threatening war against Iran, coupled with Israel. Therefore, let's really clarify who is at fault, who is not at fault. Iran is not threatening war against the United States. It's the United States threatening war against Iran.
It's all over. It's only down from here. It's only going down from here, bro. That is crazy. You guys are upside down. No plan. Don't know what to do. And then, here's what gets me. I thought we supposed to pick a leader that's supposed to lead. In my mind, I thought you supposed to pick them based on authority, right? Loyalty. They supposed to come from a branch of like the military or something like that. I thought when you pick a president, they supposed to, from that realm, right, of royalty, of authority, which is they supposed to come from the military. So when they pick Trump, to me in my mind, Trump is more of an entertainment world. He's from a more entertainment world. Here's what I'm trying to say. From the 90s all the way up to here, when I seen Trump, it was either like in movies and shows. Because I remember you first seen Trump, if you watch Home Alone, he's in there. So he's always been in the entertainment side. So when they picked him, it was like, okay, how does an entertainer rule the world, right?
Bipartisan, as you pointed out, I always try to look for ways that we can work together and not get outraged by every single thing that happens. But when the president pardoned the people for January 6th, I looked at individual cases. There was one guy, Daniel Rodriguez, they were beating up a cop on the ground, and people were saying, kill him, kill him. And this guy, Daniel Rodriguez, went up and tased the police officer in the neck. The police officer had a heart attack and now has brain damage. He then went on social media and said, I tased the expletive out of this cop and I got away with it. And then he had to go through a prosecution. He pled guilty, was sentenced to 12 years. And the president pardoned this guy. And that's just one of like 1,500 cases. And I just get so upset when I hear the hypocrisy of saying, back the blue and we're for the cops and we should back the cops and we should back the blue. But how could you pardon somebody who did something so blatantly wrong? And that's just one of, dozens and dozens, hundreds of instances. So I think that much the way I'm feeling, a lot of Americans are feeling, but a lot of our elected officials, our senators and members of Congress are feeling, and they're finally standing up. I always try to be bipartisan, as you pointed out. I always try to look for ways that we can work together and not get outraged by every single thing that happens. But when the president pardoned the people for January 6th, I looked at individual cases. There was one guy, Daniel Rodriguez, they were beating up a cop on the ground, and people were saying, kill him, kill him. And this guy, Daniel Rodriguez, went up and tased the police officer in the neck. The police officer had a heart attack and now has brain damage. He then went on social media and said, I tased the expletive out of this cop and I got away with it. And then he had to go through a prosecution. He pled guilty, was sentenced to 12 years. And the president pardoned this guy. And that's just one of like 1,500 cases. And I just get so upset.
That's how I knew y'all was fucked up. Y'all picked somebody that's from Hollywood, right? So I'm like, okay, how is he gonna rule the world? And this the bullshit that he's giving y'all? You guys are doomed. Done with. Throw away the keys. Cause you know why? From this point on, who else can y'all pick? Really, who else can y'all pick? Okay, the only president I see that was worthy to sit on that chair was George Bush and his father before him. They from that line. Obama, he's not from the military line. You see what I'm saying? So y'all pick him by choice. That's another topic. And also Trump, Donald J. Trump, y'all pick an entertainer. So it's like, y'all keep going downhill. Y'all just keep going downhill until America is no more. That's what y'all doing. And you don't get that. You guys are not picking the right people. First of all, you took away the people that been in the game for so long, that been in the military. Y'all fired generals this year that these are people that supposed to, tell y'all like, okay, this how it works. Because they've been in that field, but y'all fired them. So now the only people that's in office that can talk to Trump is yes man. Only yes man. So nobody can tell him no. And that's crazy. That's how I know this is the fall of Babylon the Great, the USA. This is the fall of y'all. And that's crazy. We watching it in real time. This is very stupid. Y'all picked the entertainer and y'all thought it was gonna work. He's not even from military. His bloodline is not from the military. But y'all picked him. Good luck.
Victor Bout, massive Russian insider, can't get more insider, said that Putin is preparing to intensify the attacks and then will roll in with classic infantry tactics like they did in World War II with overwhelming force. They've got 500,000 extra troops ready to go in, another 200,000 Korean troops on the border. They moved tactical nukes in Belarus up to the border. That's 700,000 troops. And then they will simply lower their artillery from an elliptical to basically straight on, and then just roll into the towns and cities and